Okay, so first of all, I have to apologize for my current state. If you look at my hair, you will see that I have not showered today. It's early in the morning here. I haven't been to the gym. I haven't hit the showers. So I apologize. But I am here to sort of have a discussion with you guys about the pressure that we sometimes put on ourselves to really like a book and to not just enjoy it, but to be able to critique it and review it and give it a positive review, even. And that is crazy once you say it out loud, but I feel like that's something that really happens to a lot of people, to a lot of us in booktube and readers in general, people who are very passionate about reading. I wanted to bring this up because I read A Constellation of Vital Phenomena by Anthony Mara, and I also very recently read Call Me by Your Name by Andre Aciman. And even though those two books are incredibly different from one another and they present very different, conflicting feelings within me, um, both of them have been books that I felt pressured to enjoy, to review in a very positive way, and I've just wanted to jump into the wagon that everyone seems to be a part of. This we love Anthony Mara business. We love LGBT literature, Call Me by Your Name, Wagon. I wanted to be a part of those things. But here's the deal, I feel that I have grown considerably as a person and as a reader. In the past couple of years, I feel like I have grown a lot. And I feel like growing up as a reader to me has meant various different things, but mainly it implies the ability to see your flaws or your particular characteristics as a reader, and that includes the things that you like and the things that you just don't like. But also, growing up as a reader for me has meant trying to get out of your comfort zone and reading more widely and reaching for a variety of books that you usually didn't, and I feel like I have absolutely done that and I've tried doing that. And this is an example of how I tried to read something that I always had the feeling that I probably wouldn't really enjoy normally, but I really wanted to try it out and just to see, sometimes different is good. So, A Constellation of Vital Phenomena by Anthony Mara is one of those books that people everywhere, not just on BookTube, but everywhere, seem to love and seem to rave about. It is a book about some characters in this part of the world that I honestly didn't even know existed. Like, well, I will say one thing before I give any type of review about this book. I will say, and I will admit to the fact that I am incredibly ignorant in some things. I am very specialized in what I do, and I am very academic, and I read a lot, and I investigate a lot, and I am very clever in some things, but I am incredibly ignorant about history and political conflicts and geography. And this is a book that really made me come to terms with the fact that I know nothing about the world. I mean, I barely even know who is the president of Mexico, my own country. So yeah, I know that's a big flaw or a big thing that I have. That is my business. That is my responsibility. That is my own thing. That's my characteristic. And I absolutely 100% admit it and own up to it. Um, and probably this book was not the right book for me because of those reasons. And I probably shouldn't have read it. And I knew that going in. I was kind of reluctant to pick it up, and I was resistant to picking this book up because I knew just from looking at the synopsis and the blurbs that it's a book about a political conflict in this place called Chechnya. Chechnya, I hope that's how you say it, which is like in Russia or something, or close to Russia. I don't know. I'm incredibly ignorant, but it's about those kinds of places in some kind of war that I had never heard of or read about in my life. I know I'm incredibly ignorant, and that is my responsibility, and um, I will not say that I did not like this book because of the book itself. I mainly feel like this was just not a book for me, and that's fine. You know, I could not expect to like this book and fall head over heels in love with this book when I understood literally 5% of what was going on here. And I know I probably could have investigated and I probably could have Googled things up and done some research, but you know what? At this point in my life, I don't want my all of my reading, even my fiction reading, my pleasure reading, to become work. So yeah, mainly I just wanted to talk today with you guys about how we very often put a lot of pressure on ourselves because you know this is a book, this one and Call Me by Your Name by Andre Esiman, are books that I really wanted to love and I really wanted to feel like I was a part of the people that support these authors and their work. But there comes a point when you just can't fool yourself any longer. And you know, the thing that happened to me with this book is I started reading it, and at first, it doesn't really involve the political, historical aspects that much. It's mainly the story of a man who rescues this girl and takes her to a hospital to live. And, you know, we sort of follow their story, and it's a very sort of human story. It's a story about them, it's a story about the characters, about their interactions, and that part I was actually in for. I was actually enjoying. But that, you know, the first 100 pages or so, I really enjoyed because that's what it was about. But then the author Anthony Mara does this thing when he jumps back in time and he sort of traces the backstories of these characters, which I think is an absolutely amazing thing to do, and I applaud him for it. But then he starts putting a lot of facts and data and history and political conflict things that just lost me. And by page 150, I knew that this book was just not going to be for me. So for the rest of the book, I had a pretty bad reading experience. I kept skimming through the parts that I knew I was not getting. It's very frustrating to read so many different so many things, names of people and names of places and names of conflicts and of things that you have no idea what they're talking about. It feels like you're not invited to the party, and this is not the author's fault. Again, I repeat, it's my thing, it's my business. I probably had no business reading this book in the first time, but I really wanted to try to see what the fuss was all about. So there you go. In the end, I made it through. It was kind of a very rough reading experience, skimming big chunks of the book, feeling left out, enjoying the private, more intimate conversation, character driven parts of the book very much. But in the end, I gave it 2 stars, and I know that it's probably the only bad, negative review of this book that I have ever come across. And yeah, I just, you know, I feel fine with it. I don't even feel guilty anymore. I just feel like I am 26. I I keep on growing up as a reader, but I just recognize what I like and what I don't like. So tell me in the comments down below, has this phenomenon ever happened to you of feeling the pressure and feeling, you know, like you have to read this, you have to like this, you have to love this? Um, have you ever had any sort of conflict like this one? Please let me know so we can have a conversation. So that was my not really review of A Constellation of Vital Phenomena by Anthony Mara, and I will say this is probably an amazing novel. If you can if you don't have a problem with those kinds of references to history and politics that I do have a problem with. And I think that's why people love it so much, because it is a pretty great novel. It's just not for me. So that's a 2-star read for me. Thank you for watching.